In 1965, Vietnam seemed like just another foreign war. But it wasn't. It was different in many ways, and so were those who did the fighting. In World War II, the average age of the combat soldier was 26. In Vietnam, he was 19. 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 19. According to a Veterans Administration study, half of the Vietnam combat veterans suffer from what psychiatrists call post-traumatic stress disorder.
I wasn't really sure what was going on.
Richard Grove has been showing a new program called Clip Genie. And I used Clip Genie to make tonight's show. So, as an example of what Clip Genie can do, I searched one of Richard's favorite books entitled Terror Factory. Using Clip Genie, I was able to search and find the specific words I was looking for and the corresponding timestamp. I just highlighted the text I wanted in the video and pushed a button. Boom, instant clip. All I had to do was download it. Clip Genie is free to use, as in to search someone else's database, such as Grand Theft World. However, if you want to upload your own content to search clips, that will set you back around $50 a month US. So let's see what Clip Genie can do with Terror Factory.
So it is a very good time for the people to start waking up. Our lives will likely depend on it. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
They depend on mainstream media and the toxification of the mind that comes through listening to all, like the places that purvey those very inaccurate portrayals of reality that we heard in the Matt Orfalea clip.
Yeah.
And there's many more like that on just about every topic that those people talk about on those channels. So much more to be learned. But again, manufacturing of terror is much more convenient. You can do it on a schedule. You get all your budget dates hit and everything like that. You can't be waiting for, people to just randomly go plan to kidnap a governor. But if you get a bunch of your guys involved and suggest it and, step by step these people toward that thing, and then they got too far and you drop the clamp on them, right? That's a bear trap. That's really a man trap in this case, right? The entrapment is part of the whole process. It's described in here. So, we've talked about it on the show. Actually, could we go to Clip Genie and look up Terror Factory or Trevor Aronson? Because I'm pretty sure we have talked about this book in depth on this show, but I can't remember when and where we did it. And if I can't show the evidence, is it really real? Clip Genie, maybe you could find the evidence for us. We can make it real for more people.
Terror Factory. Yeah, we got episode 186, episode 184, 179. Let me just
Can you share your screen?
These are all...
I'll grab a book for you. Watch this. I'll do this live. You can get this book. It's still on Amazon. This is written by a journalist called Trevor Aronson. Right there. Lives in Tampa, Florida. It's called The Terror Factory. Inside the FBI's Manufactured War on Terrorism. Let's just go to... the inside jacket here. This is promotional. Here we go. A groundbreaking work of investigative journalism, The Terror Factory, inside the FBI's Manufactured War on Terrorism, exposes how the FBI has, under the guise of engaging in counterterrorism since 9/11, built a network of more than 15,000 informants whose primary purpose is to infiltrate Muslim communities to create and fabricate phony terrorist plots so that the Bureau can claim them and claim that they're winning the war on terror, and of course get a bigger budget out of that. So if that's what they were doing to people who were followers of Islam and consider themselves to be Muslims, think about what they're going to do to people who consider themselves to be patriots and freedom and Constitution and all those good things, Bill of Rights, people being equal, all these sort of things. They're going to be probably characterized in the same way if we're going by history and how these groups have operated in the past. The terror factory inside the FBI's manufactured war on terrorism. See, they're setting themselves a little bear trap for their fellow citizens. Let's get to a little evidence here. Let me put my spectacles on just why you might want to check out a book like this. Because Ahmad Salem, if you're not familiar, that 1993 World Trade Center terrorist bombing that the FBI set up, that's not referenced in his book. For some reason, Trevor Aronson doesn't know about that information. He hasn't heard the tape with FBI agent, FBI agent John Antisev and Ahmad Salem, the informant. And Salem's like, you guys told me you were going to give me a fake bomb, but you gave the real bomb and the whole thing. And Antisev, and they're arguing over expenses on the account for the informant. It's a real shit show. It was brought to court in New York. I think Kubi was one of the lawyers on the side of the defense for Salem. It's a well-known case of constructed terrorism in history, but most people think the 1993 bombing was like Arab terrorists without FBI intervention, which is a no. You shouldn't go and just assume what you saw with those guys on TV at night.
Just like
Tom Brokaw told you the truth. No.
Emerged out of nowhere, right?
All right, so here's the page. This is from the introduction. This is page 15. By August 2011, with nearly 10 years of terrorism prosecutions since 9/11, we had a database of 508 defendants whom the United States government considered terrorists. The way the data broke down was illuminating. Of the 508 defendants, 243 had been targeted through an FBI informant. 158 had been caught in an FBI terrorism sting, and 49 had encountered an agent provocateur. What? The FBI has agent provocateurs out there, apparently, according to this journalist for Tampa, what he wrote for, where does it say in the jacket here? Trevor Aronson is a co-founder of the Florida Center for Investigative Reporting, a senior fellow at the Schuster Institute for Investigative Journalism. He's 2010-2011 investigative reporting fellow at the University of California, Berkeley, where his reporting about the FBI informants in the U.S. Muslim communities resulted in a Mother Jones cover story that won multiple awards, including the John Jay College Guggenheim Excellence in Criminal Justice Reporting Award, the Mali National Journalism Prize, and the International Data Journalism Award. I still think he wrote for a Tampa newspaper at one point, but I'll have to look up his bio. Anyway, this seems like if all the terrorism was real, why they have to make it up all the time? Out of the 508 cases, I could count on one hand the number of actual terrorists, such as failed New York City subway bomber Zazi, who posed a direct and imminent threat to the United States. Out of 500 cases, he's saying like about 5 were legit. That's like a multiplication of 100, 1 for every 100. So like, imagine if you just they tell you on TV there's like 100% terrorism, but in reality it's 1%, and they're making up 99% of it with your tax dollars at the fine factory for terrorism called FBI.
Yep.
FBI. Yeah. Sorry. I'm going to put this on a record real quick. Tainting evidence inside the scandals at the FBI crime lab. That's almost as fun a title to say as Terror Factory inside the FBI's manufactured war on terror by Trevor Aronson. Tainting evidence, page 169, dude. All right, here we go.
Excellent.
I'm gonna read it slowly for people in the back who need a little extra time in between the words. The FBI lab had no experience of handling an investigation into this big an explosion. The British, with their long experience of big IRA bombs, had been vital in the investigation of the downing of Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland in December 1993. But even airline bombings were radically different from attacks on landmark buildings and public places. If this was a bomb and mass terrorism, the FBI lab had little experience to fall back on. Well, golly, what else might we learn from reading a book like this that's really hard to find? Afghan Mujahideen. Didn't we talk about Brzezinski before?
We sure did.
Wasn't he the Mujahideen master?
Operation
Yes.
Cyclone.